Good evening, hashtag my global family. This is Drea Beta, Coyote walking in this world in real life as Sletta Puppa superhero. We are so incredibly excited and proud to welcome you to our very first family, our very second podcast. We are here with my amazing global team of super powered superhero friends. Let's get started with this evening, family. We have an amazing podcast for you to share a little bit of our lives. So again, hashtag Coyote's Global Superhero Family, podcast episode 2, hashtag even superheroes get the blues. Woo! It's been a while, family, since I've been vlogging. And this coyote is a little nervous, so please forgive me. I am proud to be a two-spirited indigenous warrior from the Pueblo of Isleta, and I am here with my amazing global family. We're all educational warriors who are here creating change, transforming the world, and literally using our voices to make sure that we use the privilege and power and literally weaponizing our education and our degrees, family, to make that humanizing change in our communities. Each one of these amazing sisters has touched my heart, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud to call them family. All right, I am going to go ahead and introduce my dear sister, Dr. Rijasoa Manana, hashtag Dr. Rijasoa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rijasoa, and I am happy to be here today. I was actually the former Minister of Education of Madagascar, and I was just recently appointed as an assistant professor at the School of English for Business and Commerce in Mahajanga, my hometown. So I'm very excited to be part of this global family. And today we're going to talk about our superhero side. So please bear with us. Thank you.
And I am Rachel Turlop. I am a first grade teacher by day. I have a PhD student at night. I am someone who is interested in that feeling you get when you are learning and you lose track of time. That's what I'm interested in learning about. I am thrilled to be here with you all today, and I'm excited to introduce my sister Liah, who is a scholarship seeker, so keep your ears open. Hey, Liah, I think you're muted. Can you unmute and say that again? Oh, no.
You are still muted, Liah.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So hello, everyone. I'm Liah. I'm from Indonesia. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I currently work as an instructor at a local university in my hometown in North Sumatra, if you ever heard that. And I'm also working on my PhD program application. So, hopefully by the end of by the beginning of 2022, I have already got the funding and I can start my PhD program. Wish me luck. Thank you.
Woohoo! This amazing team of superheroes family literally changes the world. Our first segment is hashtag superhero check-in. And again, family, these podcasts are going to be airing here live on Facebook every 2 weeks. Our amazing COO, Kyla Charlie, is going to do the podcasting editing and we'll be launching it on our website, adhd.com, early next week. So please stay tuned. Our superhero check-in comes in 2 parts, family, and this is tailored after an exercise called Rose and Thorn. We're basically going to talk about a low of the week and a high of the week. So hashtag battle of the week is going to be talking about what we had to overcome, and hashtag flags of the week, as we strike our superhero pose, is going to be talking about the triumphs of our week. Who's going to go ahead and start us off tonight?
Rachel, will you go and start, please? Because yes, you are the energetic education person here. So go, Rachel. Go, Rachel.
I am happy to start. All right, so for superhero check-in, I'm gonna say the battle of my week is sleep. And I know that sounds so silly and cliche, but I was just sharing with Rija that over the weekend, I made my husband and my relationship the priority. So we have been monitoring the COVID cases in other places other than our hometown very, very closely. And we were able to find a place that had 0 new COVID cases in a month. And so we took a little road trip. Um, I'm excited that I was able to do that with him. So that's my flex. But the battle part of being in a different time zone and then transitioning back and then going to school and then just having your schedule turned upside down, my
Mhm.
battle of the week has been against sleep. So that's where I'm at this week. Um, but yeah,
Oh,
how about
sounds hard.
you? Hey, I got to spend time in a new place with someone I love. You know what? I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna take a good sleep tonight and I'm good.
Nice.
And I appreciate y'all making time for me and understanding that. Like we're all in different time zones. But anywho, sleep is my battle.
Okay.
Leah, what are you
Oh,
feeling this
yeah.
week?
Oh, my battle of the week is actually my two kids are sick. They got cold, they have colds, and also the oldest one is actually having a fever. So I don't really have enough sleep for this couple of days. I think 4 days already, because after uh, my boy feels better, and then my second kid, it feels like she's having a cough, she's sneezing, and followed by like a rising temperature. So I cannot really focus on what I normally do on a daily basis. So I focus on them, and I don't really have time for myself. That's my battle of the week. But I think the bright side of that is at least it's not COVID. So and I'm happy for that. So and I also have one of my students saying thank you to me for helping her with her English test. And she sends me a pack of cookies, and that's I'm very happy. It's the little thing sometimes. Over to Rija. What's your battle, Rija?
Yes, I'm glad to hear that I am not the only one who has a battle, because I thought like, okay, maybe these ladies are just fine and I am the only one. So I guess I'm gonna do into my private, battle too, because the school starts in Madagascar here, and we just came back from my hometown. As to be at my newly appointed job, so at the university. And then we took that opportunity to go on vacation for a while, because after we had the lockdown here and we couldn't travel. And then now it was the time, and then we went there. And after we came back, my son didn't feel well, and the first day of school he almost missed the class. I told him to stay because he had some, he was tired. And I told him, like, during this pandemic area, the teacher will send you home if you don't feel well. And then my daughter also had some finger problem that she had to take antibiotics. And me, I just texted Rachel that I had a asthma attack just last night. It was minor, but it affected my sleep. So anyway, so this is life, but the good thing of this is we are all here despite our, like a struggle. We are here. We got this. We are here together and we support each other. And the flex of the week is still, I still
Agree.
have adrenaline high because I'm just freshly hired. And plus, the plus is to be here to have this global family and to be able to be
Yeah.
heard and to be able to share the struggle. It as if like you guys are close to me. I would like to hold your hands and to hug you, and this is huge. You can't imagine. So thank you so much. Bear with us. This is a very useful and very nice and supportive group people. So bear with us. Thank you.
I guess that means me bringing it up, family. My battle has honestly been my depression. I know I have been vlogging about it little by little. I was stuck in my room in my bed for 3 days and I couldn't leave. I am doing a doctoral vlogging project. I have a church. I try to do about 20 hours of filming a week. I also run the largest student organization in the world called the American Education Graduate Student, the American Education Research Association Graduate Student Council. And it's about 100 people who are representing special interest groups, divisions, or elected officers. And we're trying to change the world, family. In addition to that, I'm also the president of the Society of Native American Graduates. I have a 20-hour-a-week GA-ship. I'm also a daughter trying to raise a company, a nonprofit, foundation, and supporting my friends and family. So there's a lot going on. So when my PTSD hits, because I'm a survivor of rape and molestation as a ramification of Indian boarding schools, police brutality in 2008, and a white male tenured professor, of whom I was a witness in a sexual harassment suit that made me suicidal in 2018. And it made me question academia. So when my PTSD gets triggered because I'm overwhelmed or I'm reacting to a hostile work environment, which I had in the spring, and I'm trying to play catch up because I put all of that work behind. I put it down because it was stressing me out, making me sick. So when all of those things overwhelm me and I don't feel confident and I don't feel prepared because my world is uncertain or because I feel too beat up, I'll get depressed and I'll feed it and I'll stay in my room and I'll gain 8 pounds eating 10 pounds of chocolate. Like literally during COVID, family, I ordered 12 pounds of See's chocolate and I can go back into bad habits and I won't do working out and I won't talk to anyone. And I'll literally tell myself that I'm worthless and I'm a piece of shit and I'm ugly and fat and horrible. And I don't tell people because I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I'm not strong or powerful enough. So family, that was my battle of the week. But you know what? It's all right because this coyote's out of bed today and I showered and did my hair. So I'm going to call that my flex of the week because when I was down this week, my family from around the world texted me, called me, came over and hung out with me. So yay for our support.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Liah?
No, I said yay. Congratulations that you feel better. Happy for you.
Thank you, sis. I love you too. Our second part of our weekly segments, family, are hashtag Positionality Matters, digging into intersectionality. So intersectionality is a theory that was started by Patricia Hill Collins, and she, as a Black feminist, lesbian, talked about those varying positionalities in her life and how they affected racism, sexism, gender discrimination, sexuality, all of the isms that we as community members from around the world face and have trauma and how it affects life. Going back to even superheroes get the blues, family. Everyday life is trauma. Life is trauma. So we are gonna, during this segment, reflect on one incident or one part of our personality or positionality that affected our lives. Who wants to get the ball rolling?
I would
I can
like
go.
to.
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay,
Sure.
go.
No, 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 no. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine.
Not me. I would like to Rachel again because we need to keep her awake here. She's
Oh,
the
yeah.
latest, on the other zone. So sorry, Leah, we are
No, no, no.
outside
That's
of the
fine.
country, but
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's keep
course.
her here because so that she can bear with us. Thank you, people.
You are too much. Thank you so much for saying that, for acknowledging that. I am, that's my positionality. My positionality is that I'm currently living in Virginia, and within this time zone, it is 11:21 p.m. I am listening to Skrillex right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have Bangarang like coming at me from this side. I've got my coffee, like we're doing it. So positionality, I shared my physical location, but this week in terms of my scholarly work, I've been starting to realize trends and patterns in how I'm allocating my time. And I'm starting to feel more comfortable with shifting through all of my different roles and responsibilities. So, something that I've struggled with as someone who does identify as neurodivergent, I do have ADHD that I am medicated for, in addition to my anxiety and depression that I'm also medicated for. With all of those elements combined, I struggled. I mean, this week I ran out of my medication. I tried to be responsible and get my prescription refilled. And what ended up happening is that I went days without being on my proper medication. And so for me to be going to school and teaching first grade, shifting into going to PhD classes, shifting into being a wife, and maintaining, building, working on my relationship with my husband, and supporting my family. We had a death in the family. My aunt died this week. And so with all of those different things, I am remarkably proud of myself, of how I have been able to switch through all of those roles and still take care of myself. Um, take care of myself in little ways, right? Like me telling you all that I am exhausted and I'm probably going to excuse myself soon. That's not something I've ever done before. I have never like been late to school, missed a meeting. Like that's not something I do. And today I know I'm at my limit because I went to class tonight, and when I was in class this evening, I logged in and our professor was like, "Great, I'm so happy you uploaded your assignment. Can't wait to read it." I didn't do an assignment. Like I let something completely slip. So that's how I know that I'm at a limit. So I am proud of myself for being able to navigate my positionalities this week without that negative self-talk you shared earlier, Dre. Normally I'm similar to you in that I tell myself, "Oh God, you're an idiot. You did this." Nope. This week, if I forgot something, okay, I'll get it tomorrow. I like let that thought go past and I was able to move on. But I know when to say when. And I'm like super proud of myself. I hope that um I hope that shares about positionality and intersectionality. I would love to share more about my collaboration with others, but I feel like I have taken enough time just sharing. Rija, Leah, what are you thinking?
Can
I
we
think
start? Yeah,
before Leah, yes, I'm gonna give you
yeah, sure.
the floor, Leah. But I think this is we need to make this uh, podcast useful and worth to all of us and to all of the people who hear us. And I think this is valuable. This is priceless. You can't name like the price for this and how much relief is this for all of us. And I'm so glad that this happens. And thank you, Rachel, for still bearing with us. And sorry, Leah, I
Yeah,
kept cutting you, but yeah, go
that's
for
fine.
it now, please. I give you the floor. Thank you. Even if I'm not the host, I I like to give this a kind of spice so that you guys can make it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Is it my turn now?
Oh yeah, and we're all hosting. Like we're all
Yeah. Oh.
hosting this. So
Okay. So when it comes to positionality, I'd like to, tell you a story where, one of my, he's actually a very close friend of mine, but he upset me yesterday by saying that, it's my responsibility to take care of my sick kids because I'm a woman. And that pisses me off because come on, it's 2021. How come you don't realize that it's very sexist of you to say that? And me and my husband have a very good collaboration when it comes to our responsibilities as parents, and he doesn't mind, getting involved in the same efforts and time and energy to take care of my kids. And not even when they're sick, when they're healthy as well, we contribute. I would like to say that we contribute the same efforts to, parenting them. And this guy, out of nowhere says that, I'm, of course, as a woman, I have to be more responsible of my taking care of my sick kids. I was like, who the hell are you to say to tell me that? And I mean, like, it's, but when, if you look at it, like, it's very logical because, I mean, this is Indonesia. So in Indonesia, at least in my place, it's very patriarchal. There are certain parts of the household chores that are, completely assigned to women, and including raising the kids and taking care of them while they're sick. And the thing is, it's not relevant to me and my husband. That's what, upsets me. And he thinks that his, opinion of how, what responsibilities of men and women in different households should be followed regardless. And that's what, disappoints me a lot. And so, but when I think about it, like I have had like probably thousands experiences that, shows in Indonesia people look at women as I don't know, a second class citizen, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know how you put it in a good word, but there are a lot of occasions where I feel like, women are not considered men enough to do certain thing. You know what I mean? And so that's coming from, getting the education that I got in the US. It's not okay to me anymore. And when I say it, directly to people think I'm too Americanized for an Indonesian girl to say that. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's what uh, disappoints me, I guess, because like even the woman, even some like the majority of women in my population still believe that, when it comes to raising kids, it's actually their main responsibility, which is so wrong on so many levels, I guess.
Leah, you're so right. There's nothing to guess.
Yeah,
Like, it's not,
you
and
know,
it's not fair that
it
sole
is.
responsibility lay on
It's
you.
ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. It happens everywhere, and people even normalize the such comments like, "Oh yeah, you don't you look." Okay, let me think of another example. Oh, a woman should not worry about continuing their education to PhD level because eventually they will have to take care of their family. I was like, what? Not really. Excuse me. You know what I mean? But I'm glad, like, the more I, built network with, like-minded people, the more I realize that more people are not okay with that nowadays, and that's good, right?
Yeah.
At least we can, start making changes about, this patriarchal perception of women and men's role in our society.
Yes, I can really understand your what happens to you, because I am in the same you know uh, position as that, because when I was in America, I was not American.
Right.
When I came back, I was not seen as Malagasy. They said like you are Americanized. So I think we became
See?
uh, something else after we came back home, right? So that's our
Yeah, I
we
know.
developed a new identity. So it seems like we are not very welcome on one side, but on the other side, where we should belong, people still reject us because we have a different experience. And I don't say we're gonna make the change, but we are the change.
I
I
know.
want to
Yeah.
be the change that I want to see in the society, right? So
Mm.
my son reminded me that I because as I said earlier, I was told, I was ordered not to post on Facebook because I became my post became, I don't know, something that I don't want to see. And I respect
Mm.
that. So I'm not going to post for a while on something, because I always put something critical, right? To make people think. I
Right.
bring a different perspective. Like, thing is not
Mm.
always as you can see, right? So, and my son, my oldest son, Radu, explained to me that I become a threat, a woman who speaks up in the country, a
Oh,
woman
yeah.
who would like, who is still
Right.
happy, who still has peace, who still has her head up despite of all the things that have been done to her. And um, I think that is very important. And I still need to think of, I need to remind myself where I came from, where I started, because
Right.
I started a fight, right? A battle for, the girls, for the women, for education, for social justice. This is new. All of this is new to Madagascar. I'm the among the first ones who become
Yeah.
vocal on this, right? And it's normal that I become a threat. But I told them like, okay, now I have a new, let's say, battlefield, right? Which is the university. Before I was
Mhm.
technically jobless, so I did it on Facebook. And what happened was I told them like, okay, you guys didn't want to hire me. Here I am. You want to ruin my career? You can't do that. You are not God. God has the last word. So I put everything in God's hands. And look, despite the everything, a lot of people did a sabotage and blockage and obstacles on my way to get hired, but it happened anyway. And people are,
Yeah.
some people are not still happy with this. So that's why I said like, okay, for 1 year I am still on trial. That means it has to be renewed, the contract, so that I become a finally a permanent university faculty. So I think juggling multiple identities and positionalities is very important, and that makes us who we are, and that makes us strong, and that makes us heroes. And uh, hang in there. We can make this. A lot of people before us made it, and our future generation will make this too,
Mhm.
wherever they are, America, Madagascar, Indonesia, or wherever the world. We can do this.
So, Rija, do you have any experience that makes your blood boil, when it comes to the stereotype from your society?
Yes, because it's like you mean an example, a concrete
Yeah.
example? Yeah, like for example, a lot of people think that I am a former minister. That means I have a lot of money. Do you see? And then people still think that you don't have your struggle. A lot of people think that I
Mm.
built a mansion and we don't even have a house. And I was broke 2 days ago, and it was my sister Andrea who sent me some money. I couldn't even fix my computer. Can you believe that? It's
Or
like it's not and people wouldn't believe that. No one believed that I could barely pay for my kids tuition, my kids yes, tuition, my son. So, and it's like you get when people think that you have a lot because they think that I would have stolen a lot of money when I was in position. And I told them like last week, no, not last week, this week, we got people from our church who came and did some, to chase the bad spirit, the evil spirited in our house. So we had a service here. And then when I asked them to come to my house, they said like, "Oh, we need to. It should be a lot of people." And there was like, "Oh, 4 or 5 enough?" No, 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 that's not enough. And when they came and they said like, "Oh, we thought you live in a big house, and we thought this is your house." And it was like, "No, I don't. For 4 months, you still, if you build something already, if you are a Secretary of Education for 4 months, you still, and I'm not that kind of person." So that's like you wanted to tell more to the world or to the people, but I can't yet at this moment. I can't tell what really happened because I'm still under, the obligation to keep the secret, whatever. So, yes, like because that is changing, right, Leah? Because a lot of people in the
yeah.
developing world, in a developing country, once you are in position, you have the full right to get rich, to become rich, right? It's normal. And now it's abnormal for people. It's weird that I am still the poor me because now I'm gonna work and with administration of the finance, it takes 3 months to get paid. So to get everything in place. So anyway, so that people think that there's a stereotype, like, okay, you've been this and oh, you are a woman, so you should not worry about that. And it was like, no, life doesn't work like that. So anyway, sorry I took longer. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, thank you for educating us on this, sis. Because I mean, as an uneducated American, like I take a lot of that for granted. Like the idea of corruption being normal. Like in America, it's sensationalized, and they're the bad guys who get carried away by the IRS because they embezzled money when they were Secretary of blah blah. But when you talk about it, you're talking about it as embedded culturally as part of politics in African countries. And you were against that. You literally were like, no, I am the truth. I am justice. I am not corrupt. And that's one of the reasons, honestly, that they drove you out of politics. Because you were too truthful. Um, and that's another thing that makes me crazy. But and then you just brought up great points as an American administratively, right? You think about a job and then you take for granted that in 2 weeks I'm going to get a paycheck, right? But you're talking about, I want to say it's almost been 2 years since you've been waiting to get this appointment. It's going to take you 3 months to get paid. And I mean, I have to call out privilege, right? I'm always complaining. Yes, I know. I'm sorry, Yemi. But that I only make $750 a month for 10 hours a week as a graduate assistant. But $750 a month in America is nothing. But in countries like Madagascar and Indonesia, that's a lot of money. I mean, do either of you guys want to speak to that? So, I mean, I know we're going off a little bit, but this is
Yeah.
important. But Americans, this is again educational. What is this podcast bringing to our audience that we're going to be growing? It's this idea that we're family, we're across the world, but we're family but also part of it is, yeah, calling me out. Like, I'm stuck in my room, I can't do anything, but my partner can pay the bills. You guys are literally carrying the world and your families on an African Indonesian budget. Do you guys want to speak to that?
Do you wanna go first, Riza, and I'll follow?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes that's I ask myself the question like, is it worth it to do the education all that way and doing the sacrifice and everything if you are not um, financially and materially stable?
Yeah.
I said materially because in my country, owning a house is a big deal, and we don't own a house yet. And having a stable income is also very important, which I don't have yet, despite of being uh, on top. You know, if you are a minister in Madagascar, man, you should be like freaking rich. But I said no to that. And here I am. I become like a normal citizen, a normal Malagasy person who struggles, like thinking about how to meet our ends every month. And to be honest, since we are a family and we are sisters, I am in debt now. You know, I had to borrow some money, and I told the people like, in 3 months I'm gonna pay you back. So, and it's not a shame. We couldn't make our uh, we don't get enough. Like in America, even if you get a little bit, I lived on stipend. I thought you did that too, Liah, like on our scholarship. But we could still, get something. But here in the country, it's not like one lit the things the price go up lately. For example, 1 liter of oil before was um, less than uh, $2, and now it's almost $4. So that's a lot. Like it doubles, and the income still it remains the same. So it's like I don't think it's just the satisfaction that makes me, stand here, right? It's like, okay, I'm doing something for my people, and I'm happy that I'm part of uh, serving of those who serve the country. So that's why I'm here. But financially speaking, um, it's not an easy path. And I don't know on your side, Liah, what do you think?
Oh yeah. So yeah, that is honestly like when it talking about the discrepancies of American and Indonesian economy is going to be super mind blowing for me. Even right now after I spend some time in the US. So in Indonesia, the normal like for my family, for example, I need like $350 for everything, for meals, and not that doesn't even include like the daycare uh, payment for my kids, and like whatever accidentally happens, like somebody gets sick and one of my family members gets sick, it doesn't even include that, and I already need like $350, you know. And me, my salary and my husband's salary combined together only makes like not even half of it, like almost half of it, but not, like we're short like $20 to make half of it. And so like by having someone like Andrea helping us financially is very helpful, honestly, because that way I can, you know, have I can still use some of the money to pay for my dreams, like buying books for kids in isolated areas where, especially in, lockdown nowadays, they need exposure to fun reading. And I don't know, without that kind of help from Andrea, I don't know how am I supposed to, buy the books for the kids. And yes, people's perception of, being American university graduate is like crazy. They think you automatically make like good money, and thus, you should have a car. Oh, I'm sorry, my internet connection is unstable. You should have a car, which I don't have, and, let alone a house. And I literally like focus on like, the basic necessities for my family. That's all I can think of right now. And buying car and houses, bags, which I don't know, it's not on my list, at least nowadays. They're not on my list. Maybe someday, maybe in the future, after, I find like a better paying job, I don't know, or maybe I get promoted to a higher position, I don't know, maybe. But now, my financial situation is not like what, the majority of Indonesians think about, American graduate financial situation. Does that answer your question, Andrea?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for an education. I know that Neil, the love of my life, would probably be very happy if I could get all my bills under, $500 to $300. But that's crazy, right? Because that's unheard of in America, right? That's not.
Oh, wait. Can I also add like to getting like something from the US, even if it is a used one, is considered like a luxury here because of the I mean, like we're talking about the, average to good quality stuff, right? So when I came back from the US, I brought them like, it's only a pencil, like, but on the pencil it's written New York, and it's a big deal for them, because it's America. America is a rich country, so at least they get the experience of having a pen from the US, and uh, and then connecting it with the thrift store plan that I have, having the kids here are like the babies, Indonesian babies, at least in the place where I grow up, the economy is not very good. It's not very stable. And so having good quality of clothes is like, I don't know, it's not something that they can, the majority of people can expect easily. You have to come from a certain, level of financial status to be able to afford like, good quality of baby clothes. And so what most Americans would be considered like a trash probably, or used baby clothes, and which they will throw up somewhere, I don't know, in the landfill, maybe in the US, can be, a treasure for us, like literally a treasure for us. That's why I come up with the plan to, provide a good quality of baby clothes so that, mothers of who are coming from low to middle to low economy status can afford to buy their kids like a good quality of baby clothes. Over to Andrea. I'm sorry, it's like way out of the line.
No worries, family. We're all co-hosts here. But I want to give Rachel a chance to bow out, say thank you so much.
Sorry.
She is our warrior, and she has to
Yeah.
go children's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure seeing all of you. It was so nice to meet you, Rija. I can't wait to work with you more. Thank you, everybody. And I'm looking forward to next time because hopefully I will be back on a normal schedule and alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. All right. Bye.
Before you go, Rachel, oh, she left already.
Oh, I can give her a message though. and we can
Yeah.
but let's go ahead and go to the next segment because you guys are still and just to give you guys my global family the update, it is currently 9:50 Mountain Time. Rija, what time is it in Madagascar? 7? Almost 7?
6:50 a.m. Yeah,
6:50
almost 7.
a.m. How about you, Liah?
It's 11 in the morning.
11 in the morning. Oh my gosh. So let's keep on going. This is a great discussion, by the way. My brain is twinkling already. The third segment, family, is hashtag privilege safe. The lived experiences of educational women warriors matter. So, family, we just talked about how our positionalities or our lack of privilege in the form of wealth affected our lives, especially from our international family. This next segment is asking us, regardless of our positionalities, financial, racial, class, religion, to look at some aspect of our lives in which privilege is reflected and talk about how it affects our lives. So, who wants to get us started tonight?
I can start, Andrea.
Go ahead, Liah.
So privilege, right? Okay, so do you want me to talk about my experience when I was in the US or, you know, after I get back from the US?
Whatever is coming to mind, remembering, family, that our theme today is hashtag even superheroes lose.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, so I've honestly have been considering myself a superhero lately, especially after I have my second child. It was a lot of work, and being able to survive all of those hustles day by day is amazing. So I consider myself a superhero, but yes, there are times when you feel like I I'm just not enough, I'm just not good enough because of the society standard. Like for example, sexism is very common here in Indonesia. And so people expect you to like when honestly I have heard like some people call me like an ambitious woman because I was very, keen on working on my scholarship application, and I like explicitly show it to other friends as well. I try to invite them to work together so that I have a study buddy, but people take it like in a wrong way. People think I'm too ambitious for a woman by Indonesian standard, by Indonesian male standard. And so some of them even say like, your PhD education might not be able to maximum use because eventually you will end up being a mother, and having if I realize that like if I'm white, for example, if I'm physically white, people will not say that to me because I don't know, for at least in my hometown, people expect like white people are all educated, which is wrong, right? We know it's wrong. And so like being a local and indigenous woman from Indonesia, working so hard on her dream to pursue a PhD education is, I don't know, is very risky to say the least in my culture. And so I don't have the privilege of, coming from like a well-off family where maybe if I do, these comments will not be like as, as bad as it is that I get now. But I I noticed that one of my friends coming from the same town, by the way, but she has a, a circle of family who are like, how do you say it in the US, like parliament members.
Say
They
again?
work, they're part of like a parliament. Their parents are part of the parliament members.
Okay, so they're like
The
high.
Congress. The
Yeah,
Congress
so
or
yeah. So her parents are, I think her dad, oh no, her mom and her dad are Congress members, right? And so she never had that experience. She was not being called ambitious. She was not being called uh, too dreamy in a negative way. But so it's only me. So I sometimes I wonder, is that my like the economic status plays a role in this narrative? I don't know. But being you know coming from a certain financial background is definitely a privilege in my hometown. And of course, being part of like a different being part of a, I don't know, a class, a society member, like male female, is also a privilege here. you know and of course, having a good education is also a privilege, but to get to that education, you have to overcome a lot of struggles. And sometimes the struggles are, correlated with the privilege that you have. Over to Rija.
Yes, I think I understand what you mean when you talk about those children of
Oh yeah.
politicians, because
Yeah.
they feel that they own the country, right? Like
Mhm.
they are the owners of the
Right.
country, right? And then, oh, it's
Right.
normal that, they can get that far. But you and I, whose children
Yeah.
are we? Did your
Right.
parents go to the US? No.
No.
Did you, do you have a famous name or a well-known name? No, but
Yeah.
how come you came to the US? That's
Wait,
a big question, you
Rija,
know?
the worst part is actually this politician's daughter is expected to have a higher education background. But
Exactly.
us,
Yes.
coming from, exactly. So you know what I
Yes,
mean?
so we come
Yeah.
from nowhere. We are just regular people. We come from the, the hood, let's say, because I come from a very poor family, but educated. So
Yeah.
who are you? Whose daughter is she? That's the question in Madagascar,
Yeah.
because I don't, Andrea Manana, that's not a famous name, you know.
Oh,
So they try to
oh, that's a family
track,
name.
like, how, no, it's not a
Yeah.
famous, it's not
Yeah.
part of the people who own Madagascar.
Right.
It's not a family. It's just a random person who comes from
Right.
nowhere. So why? So that's a question, and
Right.
it's hard for the group of people who think that they own the country, who accept you, and they try to find, like, the answer. So they are sick of, that becomes their problem, and they try to criticize your life and to be after you. So, like, my position, the privilege saves here is, the hidden side of my life now is that I struggle, that I'm broke, that I'm in debt, that I have issues at home with my kids. The kids are sick. We could, but
Yeah.
the people don't see that, and they don't believe in that, because I was the minister of education. So
Right.
that means I have a happy life materially, right? Like, okay, I have a source of money, that is because I got, a full of bank account full of money. That's what they thought, because you've been in politics. So
Right.
yesterday I was at a meeting, which is called the Malagasy Academy. That's where the brain of the country is. It's a lot of intellectual people who think about, the academic side of Madagascar. And I was invited over there, and I was late. So there was a lot of traffic. I left the house already 1 hour and a half before, and I couldn't make it. I was late, and I parked the car somewhere else, and I took what we called a taxi cab. I mean, a scooter cab. You know what that means? It's like there's a scooter, and then you ask that scooter a
Yeah.
motorcycle. to take you there. So I said, like, I'm late. And as a coincidence, the guy used to work for my ministry. He still works there. And he said, like, oh, I took the minister to the place, you know? And then I said, like, you know me? And he said, yes, of course I do know you. And when we get to the place, he said, like, oh, I see the car of the director, so and so. I saw, you know, and I was like, well, I was very late. And guess what? When I came there, I was like, are you the minister? And they said, yes. So I was given a special spot. So in Madagascar, even if you are no longer in power, the title remains. I'm still Mrs. Minister, you know? So again, I think relating to the our segment 3 today, it saves the privilege saves, you know. So despite of my hidden, you know, struggle in public, when it's in your field, because it was education and they value me, they were like, yes, we are happy, Madame Minister, that you are here. And I think, and it was about education, how education has escalated, has been, you know, in a very bad position in Madagascar. And when they saw me, because seeing Rijasu as education is seeing the woman in the field who does the job. And they are excited to see that. And it was like, oh, okay, at least there's still that field or this circle where you can still shine or you can still bright. Because sometimes, as Liah said earlier, you think like, okay, this is, you know, this is hard. You struggle financially, and you know, who are you, or what can you accomplish then in the end? Yeah. So thank you.
That's awesome. I think that we really are hitting it on the head that privilege comes in all shapes and sizes. And that really our common thread here is our education. It really has influenced how we think, how we walk in the world. Um, oh man, I can't wait more for us to dive into more political stories, sis. Your adventures are mind-boggling. But let's go ahead and introduce our next segment for the evening. And family, global family, we do have 5 segments that we're going to be including in our bi-weekly, again, every 2-week podcasts. Don't forget our Sisters Dreams. That is the baby boutique and literacy project that Liah is supporting in Indonesia. Please direct message us, email us if you would like to make donations. We're currently taking donations to pay for the over $2,000 in shipping costs, family, to get those baby clothes to Indonesia so we can go ahead and start that business and provide an actual income for her family that's sustainable, family. In addition to that, all of our amazing Adhd Consulting Group consultants are available. We are experts in the field, family. Dr. Rijasoa Manana literally was the former Minister of Education for Madagascar. Liah, our amazing consultant from Indonesia, has a background in educational psychology and was a Fulbright scholar here at the University of New Mexico. Our amazing sis, Rachel Terlop, is currently a PhD candidate and one of the amazing former AURA GSE officers serving our global community of graduate students from around the world. And we all have unique positionalities and are experts. Each of us are available for speaking engagements starting at $250. And we also are available to do targeted workshops with any of your businesses or school districts. We are, as always, community resources. Our next segment, family, is segment 4. We're going to be talking about whiteness. So hashtag whiteness, hashtag dear white family, loving critical reflections from your friendly neighborhood global superhero Coyote family. So don't forget, family, this segment is literally about the creation of white allies. So each one of our remaining panelists / podcast participants, because Rachel, our dear sister, who does identify as a white person, has logged off. During this segment, family, we are going to be directly addressing our white family and talking to you about our lives, our positionality, our message for the week. But this is our moment to literally have a heart-to-heart with you and ask you for your support in changing the world. Who would like to go first tonight?
I can go. It's fine. Excuse me. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? So yeah, I wish so wait, how do I start it? Do I say dear white family?
Sure.
Okay. So dear white family all over the world, I wish my physical appearance in my hijab will not bother any of you whenever you see me. Because honestly, our hijab is not a threat. This is just part of our literacy and identity. This is how we express to the world that we are Muslim. And being Muslim itself means that we don't like being aggressive to people, right? In Muslim is an Arabic word. Islam is an Arabic word, which literally means peace in English. So we like peace. We don't like to cause, you know, I don't know, terrorism that a lot of like the world seem to think, is Muslim love. No, we don't like that. So whenever you guys see us around, any hijabi, any Muslim people, please don't be afraid of them. Because we don't just we don't bring bomb anywhere. Like literally, I don't know what bomb looks like, So when I was in the US, people was scared of, I don't know, I would like to say that they were scared of me because obviously they don't want to sit next to me, and they drag their kids far from me, and to me it's a sign that they're afraid of me, while I myself actually feel I don't cause a threat ever in my life to anyone around me. So I don't understand why a single piece of fabric over my head can cause, like, I don't know, what do you call it, like a panic attack to people who see me wearing hijab. So I wish it is more common for people, not just white people, but like people in general, to don't be afraid of making friends with Muslims. We're fine. We love loving other people as well. Excuse me. Also, whenever you hear the word jihad, do not assume that we actually refer to the act of killing other people. No, that's not jihad for us. Jihad is another Arabic word which literally means strive to be the better version of yourself, and that you can do that by any way possible, by educating yourself, by being loving to other people. So there's like millions of ways to do jihad, except for the jihad that the Western people recognize. We don't do that. So I guess, like, my identity as a Muslim, uh, I hope it's not like, it doesn't cause people to be afraid of us. Like it should not be the case, because we don't like, as much as you hate crimes, terrorism and things like that, we hate it the same, like even more than you. Because why? Because sometimes when people associated the crimes or the terrorist act with Islam, we are the victim. We're actually the victim, right? Because we don't do that, but we get the bad credits for that. So that's why we hate it more than you do. So to all of our family members here, whenever, I hope our not just mine, but whoever your Muslim friends is, I hope their identity is not causing you a panic attack. I guess that's it. Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah, I think we have the same perception of Muslim even here in Madagascar. But
Really?
yes, yes.
Wow.
I remember when we were children, we were not allowed to be friends with Muslim kids,
Mhm.
even if we are all from Madagascar. But I have another thing that I need to mention to my white family. Dear white family, please stop being jealous of us. And please stop being, please stop assuming that all Black people, non English speaker people are dumb or are ignorant. We try to get education, which has been delayed for us for centuries. And we just wanted to see what you already saw, and we would like to discover what you already discovered. So we just would like um, to see the real us inside us, because we've been always told who we are. We didn't even know who we were before, and now we are trying to unlearn some aspects of ourselves, and that makes you angry, uncomfortable, jealous of us. If we get education, it doesn't mean you become less. Of course, you're going to have less power. So sorry. But it doesn't mean you're going to be weak. You can be still strong. And on the contrary, we can sit at the table and discuss instead of seeing us saying, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, all the time without understanding. You would like to hear somebody with a different color skin, who can uh, oppose your argument by being remaining respectful. You would like to have a dark skinned person talking to you in an eloquent way and disagreeing with you on some points. That will enrich your soul as well and your mind. That helps you grow as well. So please stop thinking of us as your threat, because you already are in a good position, if not in the best position in this world due to your skin color. We are just trying to catch up. And believe me, we are not going to catch you. That's a dream. We are already at a loss, at a superior position due to our skin color. So stop thinking that we are your enemy. We can be an ally, actually. You help us grow. We help you be in another level of understanding so that you have less haters. Because many people uh, in this world hate you, not you as a person, but how you behave, how you see others. So let's make a deal. You already got what you have. Believe me, we're not going to take what you have already, but we just want to uh, uh, improve what we already have.
Mm.
Last but not least, dear white people, we are not dumb. We know what you do to this world. And we are not here to fight with you, but we fight for justice so that you see a different angle, you have a different perspective about us, and life's gonna be more beautiful than you think if you give us a chance, if you stay to reframe the way you see us, if you try to reshape whatever you have in your head against us. Thank you, dear
Andrea,
white people.
Thank you, sis. Go ahead, Liah.
can I add one more? I forgot to say this. Like, so to all, any white family members out there, instead of focusing on our differences, let's focus on our shared values. Like, I'm sure, like, all of us here wanted to empower women, wanted to make education more accessible to, underprivileged kids, for example. And we wanted to also make sure that these kids have the opportunity to continue their education to the highest level possible. So let's focus on that instead of focusing on our own like unbargainable identity, right? And so maybe by focusing on our shared values, we can help create, better civilization and improved understanding on, our own uh, perception and how things work on our own country. I guess that's it. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you to my both amazing sisters for sharing that words of wisdom. It's my turn. Hashtag dear white family. I know I look like you, and I know you think I'm one of you, but I'm not. I am absolutely an indigenous, two-spirited, real life Asada Pueblo superhero. And although I can speak your language and I wield privilege like weapons and I come from class, I use those literally to fight against institutions and systems that hold the people who don't look like me in bondage. So I'm asking you, dear white family, join me in using the privilege of how we look to help uplift our family because they need us. And I used to hate being taken for a white lady. Like it was the first thing. It's always out of my mouth. I'm not white. I'm indigenous. I'm indigenous. I'm indigenous. And it would hurt my soul because having to say who I am every time and having to um literally like go to my res and feel othered because I look too white is uncomfortable. So I'm saying instead of feeling uncomfortable about it, let's use our lightness privilege, let's use our white privilege and help rehumanize each other. So we can turn that negative into a superpower because I will always and forever have to correct people and tell them I'm not white. But with that privilege, we can use it to uplift everyone. So that's my nugget for today, family. Dear white family, please help me use the superpower of lightness into and turn it into humanizing love. So this week, family, for segment 4, it was hashtag Dear White Family. Next week, in 2 weeks again, this is a podcast that happens every 2 weeks from a global perspective, highlighting these amazing sisters and siblings from around the world. Next week, it's going to be hashtag Dear Communities of Color Family. So we'll go back and forth, addressing both sides of our global community. And I even hate that binary, right? Whiteness, communities of color. But let's be honest, we have our different spaces. And when we're talking to that group, we're literally talking to you. So we're going to go back and forth between our marginalized family and our white family, personally addressing you and asking you, coming from in here, to help us change the world every day. Now we're going to go into our last segment for the evening, family. Thank you for sticking around with us. And don't forget, at any moment, you can visit us at our YouTube channel at Drea Beta at YouTube, and check out our website again at betaconsulting.com. The last segment is going to be taking a different tenet from this Coyote's original critical race theory framework, Walking as Coyote. So my original critical race theory framework says that one, ordinary people have to step up and become extraordinary during times of need. And if COVID isn't a time of need, family, I don't know what is. Two, we all have superpowers and super tools that we use to help us navigate life's trials and triumphs. They can be strengthen our identities, love and family, activism, or our roles as scholar warriors. Tenet 3, which is the one we'll be highlighting today, is keeping our superpowers. In order to keep them, we must maintain a humanizing balance between our mind, body, and spirit. Tenet 4 is along with great powers comes great responsibilities. Therefore, as superheroes, we understand that sacrifice and dedication to becoming more is a part of our responsibility as we train, grow, and defend our communities. Tenet 5 is that we abide by a moral superhero code, as we understand the thin line between villain and superhero. Therefore, we are dedicated to the formation of critical consciousness and promoting humanizing action as we engage in battle as modern day superheroes in the everyday battle of life. So today, family, we are concentrating on Tenet 3. So our Tenet 3 is, again, how do we keep our superpowers? We have to maintain a balance between our mind, body, and spirits. Today's overarching theme has been hashtag even superheroes get the blues. So we've been talking and sharing our stories about our life and our experiences. Who wants to talk about this? So let's talk about it. Have we been maintaining a balance between our mind, body, and spirits?
Okay,
There we
Rija.
go. Yes, I love this, and it sparks my mind and my body and my spirit, actually. So since we are active, if it's not super active people, we need to refuel our minds, body, and spirit in order to stand strong and to remain being so. So for my mind, I make sure that I write something and to plan, or just to trigger my intellect, especially in English, because we speak Malagasy here all the time, and I tend to forget English, and my intellect part is mostly in English. So I try to make sure that I do some writing uh, here and then, and I talk about what I do to other people. And for example, yesterday I went to the Malagasy Academy when we discussed about education. So I need a space for that. And this space too, because we talk about intellectuals in a multidisciplinary perspective. And as far as body, I went to Zumba last night. So I do Zumba twice a week. I also try to have some body massage, including facial. So I had a very sharp headache on my tempe last night. The first time, I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to contact the doctor. Like, what was it on the right side? But I hope it's not something serious. And the spirit, I try to go to an early service twice a week uh, because I need to connect to God, and we go to church on Sundays, and we do that revival movement in Madagascar. It is called Chasing the Bad Spirit. So I got the training on that back in 2005. So we do some kind of hand you put hand on your hand on people's head, and you pray for them and everything. So that helps my spirit uh, to live, and also to have hope, because hope is from God. You can't just have hope like that, and you need to connect to the higher, to the highest, you know. And the balance is very important, because you're gonna be torn out if you don't take care of the three of that. So I would be happy to listen to my co-host stories now. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll continue. The way I take care of my, psychological well-being nowadays is by, uh, connecting more to God, by praying, reciting Quran, which is a scripture for Muslim, and also having a lot of sharing sessions with people who are struggling right now. So like, I think it was 4 days ago, I went to, it's called Wiritan Mama Mama kalau di in Indonesian term it's called Wiritan Mama Mama, but it's basically like a group of, married women, and they perform a religious service, and after that they get to, we have an opportunity to talk to one another, and listening to their stories. Like, I used to believe that I'm the only one who struggles with the household chores, taking care of the kids, and how I also have to teach both at the same time, being a mom as well. And I thought I'm the only one who's struggling with all of that. But sharing it with them, listening their stories have, given me insights that this is like a common struggles for not just me, but like the majority of women probably all over the world. Being a mom is nonetheless, like, undoubtedly is one of the most, cognitive load consuming for women. And so I listening to their stories have given me more powers that, like, believe that, you know, we are stronger than we should believe. We have more powers than we believe, and it gives me like more powers, more energy when it comes to psychological well-being and taking care of the physical parts. This is the hardest part for me, because honestly, Andrea and Rija, everything is expensive in Indonesia. Like, I try to consume like more fruits and vegetables, but they're also very expensive. And sometimes, judging from, the amount of money that you have every month, you have to back up a little bit buying this, fruit and vegetables that you want. And so I try to balance it out by consuming lots of water and no sugar. Although, when it comes to religious gathering, no, social gathering, I mean, sometimes it's kind of unavoidable, because if you refuse to drink, the beverage, those sweet beverages that the host already prepared, it's kind of seen as disrespectful here. So, but on a daily basis, I try to avoid sugar as much as possible. And workout, oh my god, workout, Andrea, I'm so jealous of you, because I don't have the resources, either, whatever, like even the facilities, the time for working out, I don't have that. So I have to say I don't work out at all, like, which is super bad. But I hope, like, as my kids are growing up, I have, more, I have better time management, and I, can allocate, a couple of hours, a couple of minutes for working out every day. Hopefully, I don't know. And am I done? Have I covered the three of them? Sorry.
Spirit?
Have I covered the three of them? Body, mind, and spirit?
Did you talk about spirit?
Oh,
Yeah.
spirit. No. Yeah, I think the same way, the same thing as I said last week is, I try to be more connected to God by, praying, walking the verses of the Quran, and the most, the most uh, amazing thing about reading Quran is you can always find, any verse that correlates to your life experience. And so I try to find, whenever I feel sad, for example, I try to find like verses that can answer that, so that's the thing I always do. Also, visiting. Oh, here's another new things that I do. I try to visit uh, the community, the underprivileged community. So we sometimes walk to the isolated villages of my hometown, and there we see like how many how many women couldn't afford to have, like, I don't know, as simple as hijab, new hijab every 2 or 3 months, and meeting these people and talk to them can seriously give you like a boost of energy, a boost of uh, power, I guess, because you know however bad your situation that you go through, it's not as, someone, I mean, some people have it worse. Not to be happy, not to be confused. It doesn't mean that you have to be happy because, some people have worse than you. But like what I'm saying is that sometimes seeing the people's experience that are worse than us can, make us more grateful for what we have. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So being grateful, I try to be grateful for whatever happens. Like even when my kids are sick, I try to focus on the bright side instead of the bad side. Like, okay, at least it's not COVID. Okay, they're sick, but at least it's not COVID. And I'm, I don't have anyone helping me with all the household chores, but at least I can, I can postpone whatever, household chores it is until, whenever I'm ready. Or at least my husband is not very demanding, things like that, so I try to focus on the things that I'm grateful now, so it helps me, it helps my spirit like more healthy, I guess. And yeah, I guess that's it, Andrea.
Thank you guys so much. I'm trying to think about mind, body, and spirit. I'll be honest, I am out of whack, family. I've been losing my superpowers. I've been stuck in my house for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks now. It comes and goes. I feel like I could totally tackle and do everything, and then my PTSD hits me, my depression hits me, my anxiety hits me, and I can't. I'm crippled. I'm crippled by life. So I am learning how to do this, how to balance life. And I keep feeling like, oh, I'm going to find the perfect formula. It's going to be this schedule or this budget or, this perfect job or this perfect something's going to come along and magically fix everything. And I'm beginning to figure out, no, nothing is going to come along and magically fix anything. So what I have to do is really pick and choose and do hard stuff because I hate saying that. And that's the other thing, family, is that we always get the short end of the stick is because we're good people. We give away our shirt. And we work for free and we undervalue our time because we want to help the world. We're genuinely good people. So I'm working on that. And I think that's part of why I'm going crazy is I'm tired of seeing all my friends and family around the world who are amazingly ridiculous superheroes, and we're getting beat up too much. So I guess that's what's driving me crazy is the world's not fair. The world's not fair. And COVID messed everything up, and we're still expected to function like everything's fine and dandy. So I'm gonna forgive my brain for losing it a little bit and try to be kinder. And my body, I think I'm good, family. I have to do my yoga and my cardio. So I do 15 miles of cardio a week. But that's privilege again. My mom bought us a treadmill, an American treadmill during COVID. And that's privilege. It's inherited because my family literally invested in education and did the bootstrapping thing. So I inherited wealth, and that is crazy because I reflect on the stories you guys shared, and the financial differential is staggering to me still. Not only globally, but even in the United States. Like, for example, one of my parents' household is working class, and another one was professional class. And when they retire, right, the monthly income is thousands of dollars different. So you're looking at, $3,000 to $5,000 for one person versus working class. It might be $3,000 to $5,000 for both of them combined. So you literally can have your income in the United States if you're comparing a working class household to a professional household. And even in the United States, right? Educators, professor at the university, I hate to break it to you, family, but if you're going to college of education, you're probably making around $72,000. And you can literally make that in K-12. So that begs the question of, is that PhD, is that debt that you'll be taking on to get your higher education going to be worth it? Because when you get a job, will you be able to pay that debt down? But think about that, family. $70,000 in the United States is a lot of money. But if you're a professional class and your parents are Ivy Leagues, that's not a lot of money. Your student loans, like this Coyote, probably going to be about $130,000 when all is said and done. And so you really have to do the math. Who can afford education in the US? And that's just my own small universe, right? I'm not even going to my amazing siblings around the world right now and their differentials. We're talking 70,000 in the United States, and that's dreams away. That's worlds away from their lived realities and what they could potentially earn at the universities in their own countries. So I'm just saying, family, we got a lot on our minds. Educational warriors around the globe sharing our lives with you. So maybe you can learn something from our experiences. Or maybe, like Sister Leah was saying, even though our positionality stinks right now, even though our current situation may not be the brightest, the silver lining is it could be worse. Question mark. And as far as spirit family, I am pastor of Coyote's Lodge, House of Spirituality, Critical Theory, Medical Marijuana, and I pray a lot, which is crazy because I hated church. Growing up, I hated church. It was anti-religion. But in Coyote's Lodge family, when we pray, we're not praying to a god. We're not praying to any religion. We're literally talking to our ancestors. So when I pray, I'm talking to my Gammy. Hey, Gammy. I'm talking to my grandfather. I'm talking to my beloved ones who've passed before us and asking for their guidance and love. And that feeds my soul, family. Meditation is also helping me, but connecting to who I am through prayer, through sacrifice. Indigenous people, for our ancestors, will cut food, will take food, and we'll offer it to our ancestors before we eat. Different indigenous groups have different ways of doing this, but that's also a way of connecting with our ancestors. So I also practice that too. So how we connect and take pride in our identity, how we take care of our souls and spirituality, absolutely always and will forever matter. So let's go ahead and get to the last segment, which is our conclusion. Our ask, family, is always please like, share, visit our website at adhconsulting.com. Join us here every week. We have different material coming out on different days. come volunteer for our org. We need website designers. We need people to help us with social media. We have our art event coming up Saturday. The hashtag Adhd Consulting Group presents the 420 smoke break. We have art therapy. We talk about medical marijuana. And always follow us on social media. So Rachel, she is at Mrs. Gerlop. Drea Beta, Coyote Walking is at Drea Beta. I know Rijasoa mentioned she's taking a hiatus from social media, and Liah is currently, because of religious and socio-political situations, is currently not on social media at the moment. But family, we love you so much. Would any of my global sisters like the last word? Or would you like to say goodbye, family?
Yes, thank you, my global sisters. That was quite an experience. It was a great opportunity to share our struggles and to cheer up each other. And we hope that we're going to grow together, thrive together, and be the changes that we would like to see in this world. Thank you. Till next time.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for staying tuned in our podcast, and I hope you can learn, whatever thing you can learn from our stories, because I believe that in America you don't normally hear these stories from people you just met, for example, or your classmates, or these stories are not very commonly available through conversation, even in the US. So, hopefully by listening to our stories, you can learn that there are people out there who are struggling like us and still trying our best to make the world a better life, a better place to live on. And for Sister Andrea, thank you so much for inviting us over to be part of this family and or this program. Hopefully we can continue this work in the future, and more people can join us together. Thank you.
Absolutely, sisters. We are going on plots for world domination through humanizing educational change. Again, this is Drea Beta, Coyote Walking in this World, and real life Esleto Pueblo superhero. I love you, family. And don't forget, if everything is not okay right now, it is not you. It is this dehumanizing, ridiculous situation called COVID, white supremacy, coloniality, and trauma. But this coyote loves you. Mwah! Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you all again soon.